What's going on? Zach here with 5-Star Prep, and today we're going over an SAT math skill that you must know in order to be successful on the exam. So let's check it out. Here we have two isolating quantities questions, and these problems are directly from the 5-Star Prep SAT course. If you want to learn more about it, go check out 5starprep.com. Anyway, taking a look at question 1, it says if a equals 2x plus 3c over 2, solve for the value of c. And here, let's rewrite our equation. It's a equals 2x plus 3c over 2. And whenever we see these questions, you have to have a good background in algebra or you're going to be stuck. But what we want to do here is multiply by 2 on both sides to start us off. That's going to cancel the 2 in the denominator on the right-hand side, this one right here, with this 2 that we just multiplied by, and leave us with 2a on the left-hand side. So we're going to have 2a equals 2x plus 3c. And now all we want to do is subtract by 2x on both sides. Doing that, we'll cancel it on the right and bring it over to the left. So I'm left with 2a minus 2x equals 3c. And our final step here is dividing by 3 on the left and the right. And when I do that, I'm left with c on the right-hand side and 2a minus 2x over 3 on the left. So the final answer here ends up being 2a minus 2x over 3 equals c, and you should be good to go. Question 2. 2 says, if the volume of a cone is represented by the formula v equals 1/3 pi r squared h, where r represents the radius of the cone and h the height of the cone, find the value of r. And here we have the formula v equals 1/3 pi r squared h. And this is the volume of a cone. And I always tell all my students that when you're solving for the volume on the SAT, you should memorize these formulas. So this should be a formula that you're familiar with. Yes, it's on the formula sheet, but it's really a shame having to flip all the way back to the beginning of the section just to find the volume of a certain figure if you can just memorize it. So anyway, the volume of a cone here is v equals 1/3 pi r squared h. But they want us to solve for r here. So how are we going to do that? Well, we have to get rid of the 1/3 pi and h on the right-hand side. And we're going to do that by multiplying by the reciprocal of each. So that being multiplying it by 3, 1 over pi, and 1 over h. And whatever I do to the right, I want to do to the left. So let's do the same on the left-hand side. We're going to multiply by 3, 1 over pi, and 1 over h. On the right-hand side, the 1/3 and the 3 cancel, the pi and the 1 over pi cancel, and the h and the 1 over h cancel. So you should just be left with r squared on the right. And then on the left, we have 3 times 1 over pi times 1 over h times v. And that should leave you with 3v over pi h. But now, you should notice that on the right-hand side, you have r squared. And that's not r, but we want to solve for r. So you have to take the square root of each side. And doing that, when you take the square root of the right-hand side, the square root and the 2 as the exponent end up canceling, and you're left with r on the right. And then you're just going to take the square root on the left. And that will leave you with 3v over pi h underneath the radical. And the final answer here ends up being the square root of 3v over pi h equals r. So those are two isolating quantities questions. Now I want to check out a problem directly from the SAT. Let's take a look at it. So here we have an isolating quantities questions directly from the SAT, and question 3 says the formula below is often used by project managers to compute E, the shortest or the estimated time to complete a job, where O is the shortest completion time, P is the longest completion time, and M is the most likely completion time. Now we have the formula E equals O plus 4M plus P all over 6, and it says which of the following correctly gives P in terms of E, O, and M. And here, I mentioned it a little bit earlier that these questions are super easy to identify, and that's because of the answer choice. Here you'll see all the answer choices have P equals, P equals, P equals, and P equals. Whenever you see an equation equals and all the equations have the exact same variable solved for, you know it's an isolating quantities type problem. Also, another thing to understand when you're going through these types of questions is that all this information defining the variables doesn't mean anything. Who cares what the variables represent? All you need to know is we have an equation right here and we want to solve for P. And we should be ready to go. So anyway, we have the equation E equals O plus 4M plus P all over 6, and we want to solve for P. So let's do that. First thing we want to do is multiply by 6 on both sides. Doing that, we'll be left with 6E equals O plus 4M plus P. And now all we want to do is subtract by O and 4m on both sides, and we'll have P isolated on the right-hand side. So doing that, we subtract by O and 4m, and we're left with 6e minus O minus 4m equals P, and we should be good to go. Let's take a look at our answer choices. A says P equals 6e minus O minus 4m. That matches what I just got here, so we are, in fact, ready to answer this problem. Our answer here is A, and we are done. Again, isolating quantities questions are going to be super easy to identify when you're going through the exam, and that can be very useful when you're looking at 20 math questions back to back to back. So I hope that helped, and I'll see you in the next one.